It's a beat by Flow.
Yes Man just showed up. He had a very big box, which I am extremely hyped for. Let me see. What does that say? Oh, I'm so hyped. Oh yes, dude. You guys might remember it's been a long time now, at least a year, since subscriber Jamie sent out his old TEIN springs. That was what got the ball rolling with the PTGT. We installed them on it. TEIN, however you want to say it. Their springs are awesome. They transform the PTGT look and performance wise. And I'm really excited to now be in a position where I could just go out on eBay. I mean, it is eBay, but I could go on eBay and I could buy a set of these for my new daily driver car. Ooh. Oh my God, looky there, looky there. Look at this, it's even all divided up and everything. There we have it. There are our brand new TEIN, whatever suspension, progressive rate springs for the daily cruiser. Oh my God, I almost dropped it. Ooh. A little bit better of an explanation of what these are, for those of you who don't know. Progressive rate means that the more the spring gets compressed, the tighter it gets. So basically, when you're simply riding down the road, it feels pretty close to stock, still soaks up bumps pretty good and still absorbs things like that. But once it really starts to compress and once you get more pressure, it tightens up more. So you get way less body roll. This makes the car handle like 40,000 times better, while also lowering it and giving it a really, really nice stance. These springs are supposed to lower the car 1 1/3 inches, I think, or like 1.3 inches in the front and then 2 inches in the rear to kind of level things out a little bit. Like I said before, I did buy these off of eBay. I bought them out of pocket. It's not like a sponsored deal or anything like that. Nevertheless, I still highly recommend them, and I'll see if I can get like an affiliate link or something to throw below if you guys want to help me out and check them out. Honestly, for like less than 200 bucks, you can't beat it. A little something that there was some debate about and something that I was asking around about and couldn't really find any answers about is, do these work with the second generation PT Cruiser? You can see here on the box, it actually says PT Cruiser 01 Plus. There's no other year here, but when you go online and you're looking around on all these websites, searching them up, it always says 01 to 06 and that these don't work on 2007 plus cars. That's just what always shows up, but honestly, I have no clue why it wouldn't work on an 07 to 2010 or whatever. The suspension was essentially the same. Then again, you know, 2007 is the newest I've worked on, but as far as I know of, there was no changes to the suspension at all. And that's what we're gonna myth bust today. So there's a very slight chance that once we get everything in there, something weird is going to happen, as it always does, but I don't see why they won't. I have high hopes. I am very confident in this, and I am so excited to see how the car is gonna look drop down to a normal stance, because right now we have at least like 2 fists worth of wheel gap. Yo guys, look at this sick camber we got going right now. This is a little bit of a job, honestly, as far as getting the springs and struts out. It's not too bad. It's just some little things that you have to think about ahead of time. And this is going to knock our alignment all out of whack, so that is another thing that I have to keep in mind. I'm also gonna mark the knuckle here with some sort of marker or something just to make sure that we get the camber pretty close. And I'm probably not going to reuse the stock camber bolts. Usually these cars, one of these bolts is a camber bolt. I don't know, we'll find out when we take it apart. But I actually have aftermarket metal ones, and I highly recommend upgrading to the metal ones, because usually if you have a camber bolt in these, they have a little plastic sleeve on them that's supposed to adjust the camber, which basically will space the wheel out or in accordingly, and I'll show more about that later. But the metal ones seem to work a lot better. I have some spare ones, I think, and I'm probably gonna replace these if they do have camber bolts with metal ones. This all has to come unbolted. The top of the strut has to come unbolted, and then you have to very carefully pull the whole strut assembly out. Then we have to use spring compressor, press the spring. We're gonna use a very interesting backyard mechanic method to actually pull the top head off so that we can pull the spring off, compress our new springs, put them on, get the top head on, and then put everything back together. So it is quite a job to get the fronts done. The rears, on the other hand, are quite easy. I don't think you even need a spring compressor most of the time to get these rear springs out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get everything marked up and start pulling this apart. course, these bolts were a little bit crusty and rusty. I actually covered the CV axle boot with a little bit of tin foil just to protect it so I could use the cheap little propane torch on the bolts to get them loose. That finally is what got them to come apart. Okay, there are no camber bolts on this side, so apparently the camber adjustment was never messed with from stock. So whether I put camber bolts in it or not, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, and just like that, got the other side out as well. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, why the heck aren't you replacing the struts while you're at it? But honestly, car rides perfectly fine as is. I don't notice any weird noises coming from the front end. These ones aren't leaking or anything. These struts are perfectly fine. Honestly, just slipped my mind and I didn't feel like ordering them. So, I'm not gonna worry about it. I am probably gonna wire brush and paint these really quick just to make them look nice. It's time to be extremely careful because we have a loaded spring right here that could probably break our face off. And this, my friends, is when it becomes time to use some sketchy tricks. This is the trick I use to get this top hat off, and probably a lot of people would frown upon it, but basically what I do is I use a vice grip and I put it on the actual shaft of the strut up here at the very top. You can see the shaft down in there, and I'm just going to put these vice grips on, lock them in place. And the reason why a lot of people say like never use anything like that, never touch the shaft, is because you don't want any little nicks or scrapes or any damage or any debris to get in here, because any little nick or anything that has to cross across the seal will mess up the seals in the shock, because this is full of like a gas or something, and that's what helps absorbs the impact. And if you mar that shaft that's going in and out of there, it's gonna mess it up. But if you're clamping onto the shaft a little bit at the top, that is never going to compress down so far that it goes in there. So there's really no harm in doing this as long as you're careful. And now to get the nut off the top, I'm gonna break out the big old DeWalt, impact it off, and impact it back on.
A few moments later.
Okay, slight mistake was made. Hopefully this one's okay. I'm sure it will be, but I actually, I was wrong with where I put the vice grip to loosen it. I put it lower than it should have been. That is a little low. I still don't think it's going to be a problem though. So I think we're good, but to be safe, actually what you're supposed to do on the other shock here, what you actually need to do is once you get the spring as tight as you can, put the vice grips between this little top cap and the bearing. That will definitely never see the light of day, and that will never be a problem. That's the best way to do it. All right, strut number 2 is disassembled. All right, the hardest part is now done. And apparently my camera wasn't recording, but I went ahead and sprayed these really quick with a little bit of black paint. After, of course, I used the wire brush on my little impact here and got them all cleaned up. Took the old ground wires off, and I'm going to make brand new ones once we get everything put together. But I just wanted to give you guys, while I wait for the paint, a quick little look at the springs and the difference between our old springs and our new TEIN springs. Now, obviously, the first thing you notice that's different is it's a lot lower. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know for sure how progressive rate springs work, but if you notice this spring, it's a little bit more spread apart in the middle and it's closer together, a lot tighter together. The spring, compactly designed, especially on the ends, it's going to tighten as it compresses rather than just go boing like those springs will. Alright guys, the fronts are completely done. That took a little bit longer than I hoped, probably a couple hours of fiddling around. As you can see, it's already dark out. So a couple things to note is putting the struts in actually isn't too hard by yourself. Second pair of hands would be nice, but it's not too bad. You just got to kind of hold the strut below you and poke it up through and get it lined up in the holes, and then use one of the bolts, get it on there and get it finger tight so that you can kind of mess with this, get that all torqued down first while this is being held onto. But everything is put together, and the main thing is we got our TEINs in there and installed securely. Getting everything together and getting the struts put back together, it is a little bit of a pain. And now we can move on to the easy part. we go. We have a slight problem though. Unfortunately, I can't finish the car tonight. I'm kind of sad about that because I really wanted to see it done. This strut actually had an issue and I'm gonna have to grab a new one in the morning. Basically what happened is this bottom bolt got stuck. It would not come out for anything. Then I realized suddenly that the rubber was like a little torn here. So I ended up taking the top bolt out instead so I could figure out what was going on. And when I popped it out, I suddenly realized why this bolt wasn't coming out. You can see here at the top, there's this piece of metal that runs through the rubber bushing. The bolt goes through that and tightens down on that rather than the rubber, obviously. But that came out at the bottom. And it's actually seized onto the bolt, as you can see right there. And that's why it will not come out. So that kind of sucks. But I guess I'll check back with you guys so we can go ahead and finally throw these rear springs in and see what this car looks like.
Tomorrow for sure.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the remnants of the bolt. Now that that is out of the way, we got brand new rear shocks for this car. I got Gabriel Ultras from AutoZone because they were literally the cheapest ones I could find locally. I think these were like $20 a piece or $22 a piece, something like that. So actually, hey, wait a second. These were Gabriel Ultras too. It already had the cheap crap on it. So I guess that works. Guys, just took the time to triple check everything here. Everything looks really good. Everything is installed correctly. Everything is torqued down. So let's just get our wheels on real quick. All right, that's done. We're so close. Here it goes. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, dudes. Oh, we gotta drive this thing. Oh my God, it feels so weird. I literally like just sitting here in the car driving straight or just sitting in the car while sitting still, it already feels like weirdly lower. I remember that same feeling with the PT-GT. It's like you just feel like the ground is closer to you and it's so cool. It doesn't seem like much, but that is a lot of wheel gap to get rid of and it's still not all gone. I mean, a lot of people would consider this gap that these springs leave to still be disgusting, but it's perfect for a dailyable car like this. The alignment isn't bad though. I think maybe there's a little bit of toe in or something going on because I do feel some weird stuff going on for sure, but it's definitely not bad. Not as bad as I expected, but don't worry. We're gonna be getting this thing aligned and fixed up very soon. The only weird thing that I've noticed so far is I did hear a little bit of noise coming from the front right. I only noticed it when I was stopped and turning the wheel, so I'm wondering if it's something fender liner related. Maybe the fender liner in the back, there's a pin missing or something and it's touching the wheel, but everything else seems solid. Everything feels solid. Everything sounds solid. No weird noises. I think we actually did good. Guys, I literally could not be more happy with the way that this turned out. It literally transformed the car, and it's funny how it's such a little thing that you're investing all this time into, seemingly, but it does so much for the exterior of the car and just pulls everything together that you do. Makes everything look so much cleaner, and I know that wheel gap is still disgusting for some people. Some people think that it needs to go way lower than this already. We've had some people say that they think that the TEIN springs are actually a little bit too high in the rear. I think it sits really well. It still kind of maintains a good balance, especially when you're going from stock and you kind of want to take that one step forward in the lowering game. It's literally perfect. It's perfect for me as a daily driver. If any of you guys have been in the Northeast or you live in the Northeast, you know potholes are a thing. Potholes suck. They're everywhere. I live out in the country, so you see them a little bit more often around here, and it's kind of nice to not have to worry a ton while I make my way down into town. As far as a really comfortable dailyable car, these springs are perfect. The car still drives just like it did stock, except when you hit a corner and you get into places where you want it to not body roll quite as much, it tightens right up and it feels amazing. This is the best upgrade for sure. I'm not trying to be stance boy. I love being a racer and acting like a racer, but I'm not actually that much of a racer. You guys know that I'm not done here, and we're probably gonna be doing some spacers and some other things very soon. I wanted to lower it first, see what we're working with, get some measurements, and kind of go up from here. So as you guys know, this is only the beginning. This is the first real big modification other than our exhaust that we've done. This car still has a lot of making over to do. I just want to say, those of you who have been around ever since we did the TEIN Springs on the PTGT, thank you so much for your support. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for just stopping and giving this video a view. It means a ton to me. Let me know what you guys think down below and what you think some future plans and some future ideas to kind of clean this car up and make it a super clean daily would be. And again, guys, thank you so incredibly much for watching this quick little channel CG video. You rock. God bless you guys, and I will see you in the next one.